Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please bring Mr. Frank Sard to the stand. Mr. Sard, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Oh yes, newspapers, yes. Mr. Sard, you may proceed with your testimony. Testimony is the American word, we say evidence. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Witness's account. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately, however the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly, it was 1 p.m. The man who ran was without a doubt the defendant sitting right over there. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? Can't defend you against a testimony like that. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? What? 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 Are they? What? Yes, Your Honor. Is that a thing? Is that a... What? However, some cordless phones do not function normally. Phones are supposed to work during a blackout? Is that just a... Hi, Sim. Is that just a thing we take for granted, that phones are supposed to work during a blackout? Since when do phones work during blackouts? Is this just a thing? Because, like, don't phone lines go down during blackouts? Sorry, can someone just confirm this for me? Do phones work during blackouts? Is this just a thing that I'm apparently an idiot? Because, like, if there's, like, a blackout, like, the whole area goes down and phone lines don't work. Like, because, like, I've had, like, sure, like, my cell phone, because this game was made in, like, the 2000s. Like, 2000, so, like, the battery on, like, my smartphone will work, but I won't be able to call anyone because the cell phone tower will be down. Like, my phone won't work. Like, maybe the battery on my cordless phone will work and maybe will be able to show me the time, but I won't be able to call anyone. Yeah, landlines would go down. If the power to your house is down, how can you call anyone? Since when is it just expected that, like, phones work during blackouts? What universe? Is that just a thing? Phones work during blackouts? Since when, game? The phone that Mr. Sard used was one of those. Is it just a thing that phones work during blackouts? Since when? Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Blackout record added to the court record. No, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor? All right, this is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Why, you exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Okay, the fundamental mechanic of this, not wrong. This is kind of what the point of cross-examination is. It kind of is to expose contradictions. It kind of is. That's not necessarily wrong. Lies? What? He was lying? Your client is innocent, right? Since... not necessarily. Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is your client really guilty? How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. Yeah, that kind of is what the point of cross-examination is. You trip people up on their words. All-time record for a trial. I don't know what you mean by that question. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Open the court record with tab, then point out the contradictions in the testimony. Cross-examination. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw the apartment. Hold it! Isn't a man leaving an apartment a common sight? I find it odd you would take notice of him. That's a statement, not a question. But, I don't know, he just seems strange to me, that's all. Like he was mad and yet frightened at the same time. Just like a criminal fleeing the scene of a crime. That's an opinion. The defense requests that the witness refrain from conjecture. Yeah.
Of course, what the witness means is that the man he saw looked suspicious.
I mean, you shouldn't correct your witness. He thought he looked suspicious. It's neither here nor there. Look, I mean, let's just move the fuck on. I don't think the judge would care. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. So, okay, he formed an opinion based on observable facts. Okay, fair enough. Half open, you say? Yes, the door was open halfway, yes. I watched for a moment, but no one came to close the door. That's odd in a big city like this, I thought. That's fair enough, that, you know, that he formed that thought based on observable facts.
I see, and what happened next?
Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. What gave you the idea to do that? Well, the door was half open, you see. Isn't it only human to want to peek? We climb mountains because they are there. It's the same thing.
True words have never been spoken. Anyone would look inside.
You really shouldn't be commenting, Payne. You shouldn't be interrupting the witness while he's speaking. That's actually incredibly rude. This is actually very discourteous to speak while your friend is speaking, and to speak while the witness is speaking, while the other lawyer is doing cross. Payne wouldn't be speaking unless he's giving an objection.
So you looked into the apartment. What happened then?
And I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. Yeah, sorry, I don't understand the question about what is your all-time record for a trial. If you want to rephrase that, I'll see if I can answer. Are you sure she was dead? Well, no, I guess I wasn't. But she wasn't moving at all. And there was blood everywhere. I guess that would look fatal to anyone. Okay, that's a lay opinion, but, you know, again, a very observable fact. Very well, what happened next? I quailed in fright. Interesting verb. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. So, you didn't touch anything in the apartment? Yes, I mean, no, nothing. Okay, what happened next? I thought to call the police immediately. You thought to call the police? Does that mean you didn't actually call them? Please, listen to the rest of the testimony. You thought to call the police. What happened next? However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. So, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. How do you know that if you didn't go inside, you liar? Phone in her apartment? Yes, I mean, no, it wasn't, right. But you said you didn't go into the apartment, or did you? Oh, that. I can explain that. There was a cordless phone on a shelf in the entranceway, but you still had to go into the... Okay. Okay, guy. I reached inside and tried to call, and that phone wasn't working correct. What happened next? I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. Why use a public phone? Well, you see, I don't have a cell phone. And being the middle of the afternoon, there was no answer in the nearby apartments. Ah, right, what time did you call again? I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. I don't know what you mean, like, all-time record for being involved in a trial, like, time-wise. It's very complicated to answer because every matter is different. Like, and again, like, that's impossible to answer, and it's not like something to celebrate, because like some civil matters are very short. A lot of matters settle. Some matters are short because it happens to get resolved quickly. It just so happens that matters happen to get scheduled very quickly. Some matters are very long because they just happen to get dragged out. I don't know, it's just complicated to answer. Like, some matters don't take a long time. It's not like a speed thing. It's if some things take a long time or are very short, it's not because of anything I did to make it go quickly. I just can't answer it. And some trials, like, I can't answer that in a way that I think would be a satisfying way to answer it, because like some days, like in terms of me like getting something from a person, like a person coming in and seeing me the very first time, like there's just no satisfying way to answer that question. And you know, sometimes, like, you know, I get involved in a case, and me being involved, like, I'm not necessarily involved the whole way through, like, as well. Yeah, it's just like there's no very easy way to answer that. You know, like, law isn't as dramatic and sexy as TV makes it look. Like, there's just no way that I can answer that. Yeah. Like, I'd love to be able to say that, like, I got this case wrapped up like that, and it's just like, I'd love to be able to say that, you know, like, I took this thing and got it like blah, like, you know, but it's not like that. The legal system doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I mean, I have had, like, some cases wrap up very quickly, and settle very quickly. That's probably the thing I can say, is that I've managed to take some cases and settle them very quickly, civilly. Civil cases I can wrap up very quickly. I've had some criminal cases wrap up very quickly because our client lost and got convicted. I've had some criminal cases wrap up very quickly because they were low-level drink driving cases, and they don't take very long. I've had some criminal cases and civil cases take a very long time and take, like, over 2 years from start to finish. I've had some cases that started before I got to the firm and go all the way to the High Court and take, like, 5 years from start to end, and I wasn't even there for the whole time. You know, and go all the way to the High Court on appeal and get rejected to not even be approved for a High Court appeal. I would say, yeah, so I would say those are my all-time records, from, like, longest to shortest. Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah. Yeah, some Supreme Court matters have taken, like, over 2 years as civil cases. Some Supreme Court matters have taken, like, 6 months because they settled. Some criminal matters have taken, like, 6 months because they got convicted very quickly. Some criminal matters have taken, like, a few weeks because they were low-level drink driving cases. some criminal matters have taken like years because they were very involved sex offense cases. Yeah. Why do lawyers call each other friends while arguing or referring to each other? That's a courtesy thing. That's a tradition, and it's a courtesy thing. It's part of the civility and courtesy of the profession in Australia. We like to be civil and courteous to one another, even as we blow each other up in letters. We try and be civil about it. But it's especially a thing among barristers. Barristers, more so than solicitors. Solicitors blow each other up a lot in letters, but barristers see one another like every day in court. They don't dislike each other, I think, as much as solicitors wind up disliking each other. Solicitors are the ones who get very personally involved with their clients. Solicitors are the ones who take their clients on and see their clients every day, and are the ones who exchange very heated letters with each other. Barristers are the ones who see each other in court every single day, and change clients all the time, don't get all that personally involved. They see each other in court all the time. They can be on opposite sides of a matter, they can be on the same side of a matter, they deal with one another. They are very courteous to one another. They can be allies one day and enemies the next. So there's a real courtesy, I'd say more so among barristers than among solicitors. But yeah, it's part of the civility and courtesy of the profession, and it's tradition. So they call each other my friends, but that's a barrister thing in the courtroom. Solicitors don't refer to one another as my friend in the letters, but they will refer to one another as colleagues, and solicitors are supposed to be courteous to one another. So there's a fine line with solicitors, and I have had solicitors write to me in ways that I did think crossed the line into being discourteous. It's very fine, that line between where you think they've become discourteous. Oh, actually, funny story. When I was down here working on the South Coast, a fellow solicitor accidentally copied a colleague of mine, a co-worker of mine, into an email that wasn't intended for them. So we were on opposite sides of a case, our firm and another firm. So funny story, the other side copied us into an email where they were making fun of us, and the other side copied us into an email where they were like, oh, duh, this idiot, blah, 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 blah. Duh, 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 blah, 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 blah. So they copied us into an internal email where they were like, oh, duh, this idiot doesn't even know this, duh. So that was very discourteous. That's literally what they said. Oh, duh, they don't even know this. That went around the office for a long time, gave us all a very good laugh. We didn't call them out on it. We just had a very good laugh about it. We just held that in our back pocket. That law firm, we found them to be very, I don't want to speak too ill of them, because I don't want to identify them. We didn't have the best relationship with that law firm. We found a lot of the things they said to be fairly unprofessional. We found a lot of their behaviour to be somewhat discourteous and unprofessional, but we never acted upon it. It's often not worth it, but lawyers can be sanctioned for being discourteous and unprofessional. You can lose your license for being discourteous and unprofessional to fellow members of the profession. You're actually required to maintain a baseline, bare minimum level of civility and courtesy as an Australian lawyer. I don't know if the same expectation applies in the United States. I'm not certain. It seems, I don't know, sometimes seems like the same baseline standards of courtesy may not necessarily apply. I don't know. I maybe seems like things might be said in letters between lawyers in the United States that I'm not necessarily sure would be gotten away with in Australia. But in any event, 1 p.m. Disbarred isn't the word that I would use. You can be... what's the word that we use here? Struck off. Struck off is the term we use here. Struck off the roll. Yes, because it's not... We don't have sort of the bar here. We have the roll. You can be struck off the roll. 1 p.m. Are you certain? Yes, absolutely. He seems really confident. 1 p.m. Right, doesn't that seem strange to you? Present some evidence to contradict him. Yes, tell me how to play the game, like the idiot I am. I remember the time exactly, it was 1 p.m. The man who ran was without a doubt the defendant sitting right over there. I just want to cross-examine him on everything. Are you absolutely 100% positive? That's... Sure, that's... I've had that question. Yes, it was him. No mistake about it. The witness says he's certain. Again, you don't... There's no need to interject. That's all of it. I have actually heard... I have heard lawyers interject, like, when people are, like, harping on the question and just wasting time, but it's more likely the judge will interject if you're wasting time. Examine the court record. If something strikes you as suspicious, then find the evidence that contradicts his testimony and present it to the court. Yeah, in Australia, I find that judges will move you the fuck on if you're wasting time. Hold on. Okay, electricity to Miss Stone's building was out from noon to 6 p.m, so how could he see the time at 1 p.m? The clock wouldn't have stopped at 1 p.m, it would have stopped at noon. Okay. Now, sorry, just to go with what I was saying before, you know, Payne is interrupting and saying, you know, move the fuck on. In Australia, judges will do that. I don't know if this is accurate to the way things are in the US, but in Australia, like, judges will do that. They'll, like, say, you know, if you're asking, like, repetitive questions, judges will move you the fuck on. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, was I on the right statement? Wait, what? Wait a second. It was 1 p.m. Wait? Blackout record. Wait a second. Badgering... It's not... Oh, that's not badgering. Just being repetitive isn't badgering. Like, just asking, like, a... Badgering is... And that's not necessarily the same problem I'm talking about. Badgering is being abusive. It's just, like... Being repetitive is just, like, as a lawyer, like, you're just wasting time. And, like, you're trying to get to a point. Remember the time exactly, it was 1 p.m. But it... Wait, what's going wrong here? Hang on. What the fuck? Hang on. How is this happening? Oh, okay, never mind. Jesus. Okay, I think I was too many steps ahead. You found the body at 1 p.m. You're sure? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time to death at 4 to 5 p.m., so there was no body to find at 1 p.m. So how do you explain this 3-hour gap?
Objection! This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time.
After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Sawit, why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? Gee, that's a really good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do, point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. Good use of the word beget, Mia. See through one and their whole story falls apart. Wait, I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again? Yeah, sure, just... Sure, just have another go, mate.